It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COMMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and invite them in. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. Dr. Auger is a OG, got that potion, the elixir, got devotion to all those who keep on showing up to witness. Spit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James quicker. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gonna teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize the vision. On a mission, it's official. We gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw jacking, baby. This is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's a live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's a live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
All right, good morning, everybody. Daylight savings time, am I right? Today is March 10th, 2025. This is episode 830 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next 60 minutes or so, me, you, Augusta Delgado, Mara Levy, not only IT, Kimberly can fix it on the lanai, Dennis Keefe, so many people getting up early this morning, ready for the top cyber news of the day. I will be doing my part to break down each of these stories in a way that is meaningful and impactful for you as a cybersecurity professional, so you can level up your game and be able to drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders today, tactically speaking, and long-term from an operational and strategic perspective. It's all about good times in here, I promise you. I also want to say shout out to the solo operators like the Augusta Delgados and the Stones fans. If you are a lone operator, meaning you're the only person on cyber, you're the only person in IT, know that you've got a virtual workforce. You got a friend over at Simply Cyber, virtual co-workers, if you will. Don't feel you got to go it alone. Believe me, community is vitally important, both for mental health and for leveling up your game and having a just a really, really great, enjoyable career. So say hashtag Team Solo in chat so we can identify you and make sure that we know that we got your back. Also, if you think this show is for practitioners only and you're aspiring to work in cybersecurity and you're like, oh, no, man, this ain't for me. Well, let me break that myth for you. This show is for everybody, including those looking to break into the industry. What's up, Kyle? Kyle, Team Solo. We got your back, Kyle. If you're looking to break into the industry, we got you covered. You're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? The Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief is a banger of an answer. On top of that, if you engage, pay attention, you'll be able to break down a story that just happened in the news at the job interview. Like Poner Joe had a job interview on Friday. Would love to follow up with him to see if he got asked, how does he stay current? Drop a hammer on that one. We got some more Team Solos in chat. Love it. We got Jeff Watala. We got Daniel Harper. Holler at you. You Team Solos, we got you covered, y'all. All right, now I want you to know, for every single episode, especially this episode where I feel like I'm dragging a lodestone behind me or a weight, just coffee hasn't fired up yet. I do not research or prep for any of these shows at all. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's because ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So I want you to know, for any story that we're about to cover, you're getting my initial raw reaction, like exactly hearing it at the same time as you. I have no idea what I'm going to say. You have no idea what I'm going to say, but we're going to have fun with it. All right, now before we get into it, though, let me say shout out and love to the stream sponsors, those who enable me to bring the news to you alongside the mod team. Good morning, Jenny Housley, y'all. Jenny Housley's in the house, audio only today, but we got her covered. She's got the cool sounds of the hot news coming at her. All right, let's say what's up to the stream sponsors. We'll do Flare. Love myself some Flare. If you need cyber threat intelligence, Flare's a phenomenal option. Go. The links are in the description below. I'm going to play the ad reads for Flare, Antisyphon, and Threat Locker. And then I'll be up in chat's business saying what's up to everybody. Giggity, giggity twice nightly. All right, let's do Flare. What's up, Simply Cyber? You know what keeps CISOs up at night? The unknown. Those exposed assets and leaked creds floating around the dark web that you don't even know about? Well, that's where Flare steps in. Think of Flare as your organization's amazing threat hunting capability, continuously scanning both clear and dark web for exposed enterprise assets, leaked secrets, and even compromised credentials being sold in private channels. Their cutting-edge platform, powered by transparent, generative AI, prioritizes real threats so your team can take immediate action. Stop playing catch-up with threat actors. Get ahead with Flare's threat exposure management capability. Don't take my word for it. Visit try.flare.io/simplycyber and try it for yourself. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, Threat Locker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with Threat Locker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust Threat Locker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. Threat Locker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Hero support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how Threat Locker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit Threat Locker. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education, regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Antisyphon Training, powered by Black Hills Information Security. Antisyphon Training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing, as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other, all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what courses they have coming up next. You won't regret it. That's right. Thank you, everybody, for that. Love to see everybody in chat. Thomas Marquette got the interview coming in. Poner Joe crushing the interview last week. Guys, love what's going on with this group right here. A lot of wins going on. Daylight savings time, yeah, Brews and Hacks. It's definitely effing with my inner clock and inner vibes. All right, we got the West Coast up in the house. Ross getting up early. Left Coast love. Guys, I also want to say shout out and love to Barricade Cyber. Now, all y'all know Barricade Cyber. They've been a longtime sponsor. Eric Taylor and the crew over there. I just want you to know that they're dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil, but Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. Believe that. Check them out at barricadecyber.com. Links in the description below. They've got a well-defined process. They've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of clients deal with active compromises. Eric Taylor's right there. If you want to just introduce yourself, get to know them, or if you're actively dealing with an active incident, they can help you in either way. Barricadecyber.com. Links in the description below. Now, I want to remind everybody, today is Monday, which means only one thing. Simply Cyber Community Member of the Week. So we're going to be recognizing one member of the community at the mid-roll today and giving that individual the opportunity for Amazon gift card, compliments a Threat Locker for $100, or Simply Cyber merch around $100. Winner, chicken dinner. But it's going to be all about good times. I'm very excited. I love the Monday Community Member of the Week to recognize one of the members who's just out there crushing it. All right, guys. Every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including episode 829, 830, is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot right above my head. You see Eddie with the Oprah emotes, Kimberly, Lara Flores with the Oprah emotes. Just say what's up. Grab a screenshot of that. It's evidence that you were here. We got Nathan McKnight with a knock interview today. Come on, Nathan. You know what the best part is, Nathan? I don't even know what stories we're going to cover. Maybe you can pick one of the stories from today and just dominate it in the interview today. Can't wait. Super pumped, guys. Love it. Love it. Love it. If today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat. We are very receptive to first timers. We have special sound effects, special emotes, and we love sharing that with everybody. Just want to remind everybody also, if you are interested in winning, the Future Is hardcover book, as well as the two comics that have come out. So it's a three-piece prize. We're going to award 5 winners on Friday live on stream. I actually have a YouTube short. Where is it? Hold on. Let me just do this YouTube short real quick. And I will tell you, this was going to be my Tidbits Tuesday tomorrow, but I won't do it. I made this video. It has like every single, what I think is a Gen Z thing. And I actually, whoops, hold on. It did not perform well. In fact, I actually lost, last time I checked, we were down subscribers, which is insane. But anyways, we'll watch that at the end of the show today if y'all want. All right, guys, do me a favor. We got to get to work. Before Nathan McKnight's job interview, we got to get this covered. Whoa, before we roll, can we all just take a minute and welcome Hassan Elhaddad? Hassan Elhaddad is our first timer, and we're going to give Ali Sharif also some love, first time live, but we'll call it. Welcome to the party, pals.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And if you are a squad member, do dip into the squad emo tray and drop some John McClane action on our friends' heads. All right, sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I'll see you at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Monday, March 10th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. ONCD set to consolidate power in U.S. cyber. The Office of the National Cyber Director, ONCD, is poised to gain strength and will operate as the executive branch for cybersecurity policy. Sean Cairncross, who was selected by the president to lead the office. While he has no experience as a cybersecurity leader, it is believed his close personal ties to the president are a significant asset for the office, which until now has been overshadowed by the National Security Council. The position to be held by Cairncross was previously held by Harry Coker. The ONCD is being described as the pinnacle, guiding the NSC, which does foreign policy and offensive cyber, and CISA, which takes care of doing domestic and defensive. Undocumented.
All right. So we are okay, so a couple of things here really quickly. We like to keep the show apolitical, okay? So this isn't a political show. You're not going to get any like hot rants that are politically skewed. According to the story here, Jake Sullivan was President Biden's national security advisor. And, according to whoever says this, they didn't know who he was before. So don't look at this appointment of Sean Cairncross, who has never been a cybersecurity leader, and say, how is this person qualified to be the leader of the Office of National Cyber, I guess the director of National Cyber. Couple things. One, CISOs are cybersecurity leaders in the organization. And yes, sometimes they come up through the ranks as a technical person. Sometimes they're more of a business person and they get put in place in charge of that. Now, you would hope in this instance, if the individual does not have cybersecurity experience, that they have a team underneath them with deep cybersecurity experience in order to fully appreciate the nuances of what it is to secure a federal government and an entire country, both foreign and domestic, especially in the current climate we're in, where there's nation-state threat actors, well-funded cyber criminal syndicates, as well as South American kind of younger generation coming on with who like to smash and grab things in a very aggressive way. I don't know this individual one way or the other, so I'm not sure if I don't have an opinion whether or not I'm excited for this appointment or not. We'll see. But I guess the TLDR is it's nice to see that that cybersecurity is given, I guess, a seat at the table. And I guess I'll just leave it at this and move on. It's been traditional that, you can even find memes of it where the chief information security officer at any organization has been kind of at the kids' table. All right. So I'm going to make this like a lesson learned for people who have not worked in the industry before, or you've worked only at small businesses where you didn't have a dedicated CISO. Traditionally, the CISO reports to the CIO. The CIO gets to sit at the adults table with the CFO, CEO, and maybe a couple other special chiefs, depending on the industry. And that has changed as the board has started to ask, what is the CISO doing? And the CIO was kind of like relaying information. You still have some of that kind of power grabbing going on. But by and large, the chief information security officer is now being directly interfaced with the board, which is great. Also, as we've seen recently, there's been discussions around legal liability being associated with the chief information security officer position, which obviously would mean if you have to empower that person, if you're going to try to legally bind them with some type of liability clauses. So that's kind of what we're seeing here, right? So regardless of who's in the position, regardless of the administration, the key TLDR here is that cyber is getting a seat, quote unquote, at the table, which is good for business.
Commands found in Bluetooth chip used by 1 billion devices. As described in Bleeping Computer, quote, the ubiquitous ESP32 microchip made by Chinese manufacturer Espressif and used by over 1 billion units as of 2023 contains undocumented commands that could be leveraged for attacks. The undocumented commands allow spoofing of trusted devices, unauthorized data access, pivoting to other devices on the network, and potentially establishing long-term persistence, end quote. Researchers from the Spanish company Tarlogic Security, speaking at RootedCon in Madrid, point out that ESP32 is, quote, one of the world's most widely used chips for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity in IoT devices, so the risk is significant, end quote. Japanese.
All right. So this is just another one of those things. The ESP32 is a chipset, and it's, obviously it's, you can see the ESP32 microchip. Think of it as an IoT device microchip, super accessible, super affordable, super flexible, and used all over the place. Now, this has been one of the things that I've always been kind of in the back of my mind thinking. A Spanish researcher broke it down and discovered undocumented commands. Now, this can happen all the time. When you do reverse engineering, you get to see this essentially the source code, right? Not always, right? Sometimes you can mount the file system, especially with IoT devices. You can use a tool called binwalk, BINWALK. It's classic. You can use binwalk to kind of I guess, walk the file system and see what it is, and then mount that file system and actually be able to look at it. With binaries and such, you can use tools like Ghidra, IDA, Binary Ninja, and reverse the executables and see what's going on. And you cannot hide functions that you've implemented when you do a static analysis of a binary, because it's literally there. In this instance, you can document publicly, like here's like 5 commands. You can do get, you can do set, you can do update, right? Whatever. But there's undocumented commands, including spoofing trusted devices, unauthorizing data, pivoting to other devices, and long-term persistence. This is essentially like a little espionage route. And with this thing being implemented in over 1 billion devices, that is quite concerning. This is one of those supply chain attacks where you cannot easily see where this ESP32 microchip controller is implemented, because when you do asset inventory, you say, like, what softwares do I have? What hardwares do I have? You might say, oh, I have a IBM Think or Lenovo ThinkPad. We've got 500 Apple iPhones. We've got 25 Amazon Fire Sticks. That doesn't, you're never going to get down to the level of what type of microchip controllers you have. All right. So this could be quite concerning. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Is this the actual screen? Oh, cool. All right. So this is actually slides that the Spanish researchers are doing from RootedCon. And you can see here, obviously, they've made this into a slide. So they've just copy and pasted the source code here. This is not like a dump screen. But looking at it, you can see. I mean, this isn't really, this particular screenshot doesn't reveal anything nefarious. I guess maybe this first command, use Bluetooth device, USB Bluetooth device, and find devices. You can have it enumerate devices on the network, but that's not what it looks like. It looks like this isn't really that much of a concern. If you're interested in hardware hacking or reverse engineering, or basically those things, if you work as a researcher at a security vendor product company and they want security research done so they can have like basically marketing, this Tar Logic researchers work at RootedCon looks like a good one to check out. As an individual, right, this is quite concerning, very difficult, frankly, to be able to like root out, basically, and LOL on the term root there. I do want to point out a couple things really quickly. One, you may have heard the term SBOM, S-B-O-M, SBOM. And SBOM technically would be able to tell you about this stuff. But I'd also like to point out, if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in hardware, you're not going to get the business to replace it, if you can even get it replaced, with technology that doesn't have this microchip controller. I'm just getting this right now. Justin Gold, aka Jay Crypto, aka former sewer, letting us know, and this is confirmed. Hold on 1 second, I'm looking. Yeah. All right, so check this out. Jay Crypto just dropped this in chat. This is a Flipper Zero, right? Whoop. This is the wireless card that goes on the Flipper Zero. It plugs into the top of it. You see all these things? Boom. No big deal. Tough actin, tenactin. Dink, right? You crack it in there. Now I've got wireless capability. Do you see that microchip right there? You see this guy? Whoop. ESP32. So all your Flipper Zeros, all your base belong to us. Just an example. Thanks, Justin Gold. So the TLDR is, this is like one of those perfect ones where you could even know that you're infected or compromised. You could know that your organization has this situation and it's too expensive to fix. So This is insane, dude. All right, here we go. A little graphic, the memory map of the chip itself. I mean, this is cool to look at, but this isn't going to show you. This doesn't show you anything crazy. All right, dude. MAC address spoofing, memory manipulation, backdoor, 29 undocumented commands. This is kind of nuts, dude. You know what makes this so crazy, honestly, is that like the US government will ban Kaspersky antivirus because it's suspected that it could be used, like theoretically, as a persistence mechanism or as like a foothold into American systems. So that's banned. But this right here, this chip, if this is, if this undocumented functionality can be commanded pretty easily, like this is probably all over the place. Private sector, public sector. It's probably all over. I mean, it comes from a Chinese manufacturer. They're very likely not deploying two different sets of the chipset. So like this is everywhere. This is insane, dude. This is cool. This is actually a really great opportunity if you're looking to do some content creation. This would be something very meaty to jump on. Honestly, I'm going to make a hot take really quickly. A little tinfoil hat action, if you will. I do the tinfoil hat first timers, Ali and Habib. I'm sorry, Hassan. Ali and Hassan. I got the little tinfoil hat here for a second. I think that this isn't getting picked up yet by major news outlets because it's a hardware chipset thing, and it's difficult for news outlets to properly communicate how messed up this is. And I think that's why it's not getting a lot of press. Anyways, this is cool. Like as an academic, this is quite cool. As a information security practitioner, this is a yikes.
Telecom NTT breach affects 18,000 companies. A warning from one of Japan's largest telecoms providers, a breach discovered last month has likely compromised the data of approximately 18,000 corporate customers. The hackers breached NTT's order information distribution system, which contains basic details on corporate customers such as contract numbers, physical address, and service usage. This did not contain data on individual consumers, nor did it have contracts for corporate smartphones and mobile phones provided directly by NTT Docomo. Signal.
All right, really quickly, Becky Gaylord, good morning, Becky, asked, how do you mitigate it? You got to remember, even like really quickly on this story, even with this Flipper Zero, for example, compromised, right? It's undocumented commands. You still have to like issue a command to it, so it still has to be network reachable, right? So you could look for network traffic that looks sussy, beaconing, like the same just think of it as basically a persistence mechanism that's in your environment that's already there. So all the ways that you would find compromised assets, post-exploitation frameworks, etc., that is how you would discover them. All right, data breach at Japanese telecom provider NTT hits 18,000 companies. All right, so the United States telecom got hit by Flax Typhoon, all up in the top telecommunications carriers, the top 9. The U.S. government's losing their mind. It was China, according to news outlets. This doesn't say it was China one way or the other, but Japan and the United States are both high-fiving each other, especially around choking semiconductor technology import into China, right? Was it China? I mean, Japan, United States, and Norway, I think. Let me see really quickly. I'm not making this up. Yeah. So Japan and the United States are like BFFs on chip development, as well as choking it from China. Look, yeah, right here, dude. I'm not making this up. Okay. So because of that, those decisions, it's kind of like BRICS versus NATO type action. And the semiconductor technology is super important. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on. This is the telecommunications groups that got hit. But if you're working in telecom, you should be mindful. There's definitely an uptick in activity around that particular industry vertical. And this one is, let's see. They just did data exfil on it, so it's really the customers of the telecoms, customer name, contract number, phone number, email address, etc. So it looks like they got, if you're like a big business that has a corporate contract with a telecom provider like AT&T or whatever, that information's probably is been disclosed. I don't know what to do with this. Is this get a? I don't know if this gets a. I can't play the saxophone on this one because I can't read it. I don't know if you can read Japanese, anyone in the community, but like, let me know if this is hot or not. I don't know if it's hot.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
All right. Yeah, it's not good. Let's see. What's this? Yeah, I don't know anything about this report here. All right. The TLDR large business got hit, and I guess it's worth pointing out if you do cybersecurity for a large provider, when you're doing supply chain thinking, you should be giving consideration to your cell phone provider as like, okay, if the cell phone provider gets hit, is there actually any impact? It's a very fringe tabletop exercise. Frankly, I would focus more on like ransomware attacks, business email compromise, the things that are way more likely to actually hit you and cause, operational impact, but it's worth doing. All right. Also pointing out, Justin Gold points out in chat here, Japan's trying to go for a 2 nanometer chip, which is insanely thin.
President Meredith Whittaker calls out agentic AI on security and privacy. Speaking at the South by Southwest conference in Austin, Texas, Whittaker, well known as an advocate for secure communications, described the use of AI agents as, quote, putting your brain in a jar, and warned that this technique in which AI apps perform tasks on the user's behalf has, quote, a profound issue with both privacy and security, end quote. Referring to getting AI to deliver such conveniences like looking up concerts, booking tickets, and scheduling the event on a calendar, this, she says, becomes a form of root permission that allows the bots to review things like credit card activity and other data. She pointed out that such muddying of the waters is a direct result and intention of the AI industry built on a surveillance model with mass data collection as its objective.
Yeah, I would agree. We're going to see how this plans out. So Signal has notoriously been very pro privacy. Okay. Signal is the messaging app that's considered secure. Now, the president of Signal is the one making these claims, and she's not doing it in a way that is designed to market or sell Signal. This is, honestly, I don't even know how Signal makes money. I don't understand their business model, but she is talking about the concern around agentic AI, which is definitely the way we're going. If you don't know about AI agents, you should, because it's definitely the next wave. And her concern is like, buddy, if you just have an executive assistant that's an AI that you allow to like, hey, I want to make like, because they have commercials like this right now, but like, hey, I want to have actually, one of the commercials I think I've seen is like, hey, I want to have like lunch plans at an Italian restaurant that's dog friendly, and I want to have that lunch with Isaiah Morris, Joseph Dehar, and Gonk DLC. Make it happen. And then the AI runs out and like, they show in the commercial, it's like 5 reviews. It grabs the best Italian restaurant, dog friendly, makes the reservation, and then emails out a calendar invite to me, Joseph, Isaiah, and Gonk. That's perfect, right? Super convenient. Well, her point here is that if you do that, then all of that information is collected, right? Like your entire not just being able to add an appointment to your calendar, but like your whole calendar, right? The AI needs to be able to access your entire calendar to, make sure it can update it, delete it, whatever. It needs to be able to access all your contacts to email Gonk, Isaiah, and Joseph. It needs to be able to see all your search history effectively, right? Because it can do search. And you're basically exposing yourself entirely to this for a convenience issue. At the end of the day, guys, convenience is, why people make these judgment calls to grant access to these things, is because it's easy living. That's what it is. That's why data is the new gold, is because people will give data all day long in order to realize convenience. So if you are a private person, be mindful of it. You may not be able to get away from it, honestly, but it is what it is. Again, this is a concern around using AI agents for giving individual access. They say root access, but basically think of having an assistant that you give access to your credit card, your calendar, your email, your home, like cameras, like everything. Like if you had a trusted assistant, everything that person would be able to do and access, that's what you're giving to AI. But because the AIs are technically, you can roll your own, but a lot of these ones are going to be controlled by big tech. And, essentially they'll have access to all these things.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, Vanta. Do you know the status of your compliance controls right now? Like right now? We know that real-time visibility is critical for security, but when it comes to our GRC programs, we rely on point-in-time checks. But more than 9,000 companies have continuous visibility into their controls with Vanta. Vanta brings automation to evidence collection across 35 frameworks like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. They also centralize key workflows like policies, access reviews, and reporting, and helps you get security questionnaires done 5 times faster with AI. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get started at vanta.com/headlines. That is VANTA.com/headlines.
Hey, y'all. I hope everyone's having a good day. I know things have been a little slow. We got 408 people coming in on a Daylight Savings Monday. Mod chat's been a little quiet today. Chat's been a little quiet today. I am dragging my booty a little bit, but hopefully everyone's doing well. Love it, love it, love it. We've got jaw jacking at the top of the hour, so don't sleep on that. We're also, I'll be sharing how you can enter to win the Recca Comics prizes. We have 5 prizes to give away this Friday, live on stream. So super excited about that. Can't wait to award 5 of you as community members. Shout out to the stream sponsors again: Barricade Cyber, Antisyphon, Flare, and Threat Locker, making it happen. Now, one of the cool things that I like about Threat Locker is that they actually sponsor the Monday segment of the week, Community Member of the Week. You can see here on the right, sponsored by Threat Locker. Because of the sponsorship, I'm able to give prizes to the winner of our Community Member of the Week. Love Simply Cyber, obviously. And I just love how awesome the community is. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to feature community members. Now, this community member, you may or may not know, but I'm a huge fan of. We are rolling out a new capability within the Discord server, within the Discord community. If you didn't know, we've been leveling up the Discord community, having more events, more activity. We're doing the prize giveaway through Discord, etc. And we will be rolling out what we're calling the SC Nerds. Now, the SC Nerds are very similar to Black Hills Nerd Herders, if you're familiar with that. We've got an initial group of 7 or 8 nerds, And basically, these individuals are elevated roles on the Discord server to help welcome newcomers, make people feel comfortable, answer questions. Think of them as like orientation people on college campuses the first week, helping each other. And one of them I wanted to recognize, especially because of him helping drive an upcoming Simply Cyber ongoing initiative. We're going to be we've done coloring contests in the past, and we are going to be rolling out a 26-week coloring event. So if you have kids or if you like coloring yourself just for chilling out, you're going to have an opportunity coming up pretty soon. But I do want to recognize the Simply Cyber Community of the Week, sponsored by ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker takes a deny by default approach to cybersecurity, and Simply Cyber takes a village approach to community. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Danny Page, aka Cesium Skater. Danny Page is one of the SC nerds, and he's the one who's bringing the coloring contest idea back to the community. So, Danny, thank you so very much. And I will ping you on Discord, Danny, in order to get you your prize for the Simply Cyber Community Member of the Week. Now, if you would, Alpha Sierra, please lead us off. Alpha Sierra, our drum major, is going to lead us off with La 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 La's. Let's go. All right. And for the coloring, yeah, it can be digital, it can be crayon and printed and scanned. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. That's what the deal is. We make our own rules. All right, hey, quick shout out to a first timer, Gonk DLC. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
20 gifted subs coming in hot from Fleetus Post in the third. Fleetus, thank you for the gifted subs. If you're one of the new squad members because of Fleetus, give him a shout out. Yes, and get your Oprah emotes on. If you pick up a squad membership, check that emote tray because you just unlocked a whole bunch of them. Thanks, Fleetus. All right, let's get back to the news, y'all.
Texas border city declares state of emergency after cyber attack. The city of Mission, Texas, which sits on the border with Mexico, filed a state of emergency declaration this past week after a cyber attack forced the shutdown of much of its network. The mayor, Nori Gonzalez Garza, urged Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Tuesday to, quote, declare a more expansive state of emergency for the city while she filed a local state of disaster declaration herself, end quote. She described the situation to Governor Abbott as, quote, a cybersecurity incident such that the entire city computer server is at a severe risk of a cyber attack that could release protected personal information, protected health information, civil and criminal records, and or any and all other data held by the city of Mission and all departments within the city, end quote.
All right, so I mean, classic municipality, right? First of all systems are taken offline, but emergency systems are still present. Okay, so that's a pretty standard practice. Second of all, municipality gets hit. Like, welcome to the party, pal. Like, I mean,
Welcome to the party, pal.
like, dude, get in line. Like, Cleveland just got hit recently. Spartanburg, South Carolina last year. You know, Baltimore, Atlanta, LA, Minneapolis. Like, there's been a bunch of cities in Texas that have gotten hit. So, you know, Mission, Texas. I mean, the fact that it's a border city with Mexico, to me, makes no difference to the story. It's still a municipality that got hit. The entire computer server is at severe risk of a cyber attack. I mean, this is, who said this? She told, who's she? Hold on one second. Who is she? Mayor Nori Gonzalez Garza, whose message, hold on, this is like an official message from the city of Mission, Texas to the governor's division of emergency management. Suffered a cyber attack. Severe risk of a cyber attack could release this information. Okay, so she's basically saying she wants to declare a state of emergency. Here's the one thing I would point out, okay? This is fine. Obviously, they've done tabletop exercises and they're executing their incident response playbook, which includes declaring a state of emergency in order to unlock, I would assume, funds in emergency fund accounts. And that's what she's saying. Now, the one thing I would push back on as a cybersecurity professional, which is silly, is that she says they've suffered a cybersecurity incident and the entire computer server is at severe risk of a cyber attack. This is not accurate. Okay. I hate to be like the nerd pushing his glasses up his nose, but bro, or not bro, the Honorable Mayor Nori Garza, you're not at risk of a severe cyber attack. You have suffered a severe cyber attack. You are already past risk. You are at realized. So this is a slight misstatement on her part. The machine is offline now. It's no longer at risk of a severe cyber attack. You've taken it offline. The threat actors would have to physically go to the computer and plug into it. But in reality, it sounds like they've already exfilled the data. So, you know, you're you can't just to give a metaphor, okay, really quickly, like someone has burned down your barn and now you're going to like the local farmer bureau and saying you're at a state of emergency because your barn's at risk of burning down. It's not at risk of burning down. You have charred embers left. Now you need to rebuild your barn. And, you know, again, like I'm mincing words here. At the end of the day, this municipality is screwed. Obviously, all you have to do is restore from backups, harden, figure out how they got in the first place, and prevent it from happening again. And secondly, if the data is exfilled at this point, you're going to have to manage whatever the data leak is on that one as well. Unlikely they will pay any ransom to stop release of the data. You can see here, Garza said in the letter the state would allow for emergency funds to be released. Yeah, exactly. That's all they were doing. That whole letter is just to unlock money that can be spent on the incident responders like Barricade Cyber to come in and fix it up. Guys, here's the TLDR, especially if you work for a local state municipality. Say you work for the local water department, water and sewer, right? Say that's you. You absolutely should use this as a friggin' case study on why you need to do tabletop exercises. Don't use this as a fear technique. Here's my lesson for everybody today. Like, if you're a squad member, this is a more you know situation. You can take this story and you can go to the board or the CFO or, you know, the management team, like whoever controls the purse strings, right? Whoever controls the straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie. You can go to them and you can say, hey, listen, look at this. These people got hit with a cyber attack. Don't let it be us. Please fund us. Okay. That's one way to do it, right? Let me offer you another opportunity here. Use this as a tabletop exercise. Let your executive team go through the exercise. And when they realize, they'll see it themselves that you are exposed to risk that they don't want. Once they see it, they might say, well, what do we do to fix it? And that's where you can say, hey, like, hey, girl, hey, I'd like some budget, or hey, I'd like to reallocate some resources in order to be able to focus on solving this problem. The tabletop exercise is not just an opportunity to find weaknesses in your processes and make sure that DJ BSEC's not the only person at the business who knows how to restore from backups, but it's an opportunity to bring awareness to the business side that, we are actually at risk here, and have them come to the conclusion that something needs to be done. Very powerful stuff.
Malicious use of Cobalt Strike down 80%, says Fortra. A global crackdown has reduced the use of unauthorized copies of Cobalt Strike by 80% in the past 2 years, according to the security firm Fortra. Originally developed for penetration testing, older versions of Cobalt Strike have been widely exploited by cybercriminals, as we all know. Since 2023, Microsoft, Health ISAC, that is the Health Information Sharing and Analysis Center, and Fortra have worked to disrupt illegal copies used in cyber attacks. A 2023 U.S. court order enabled
Hold on a second. Hold on, is this the same?
them to dismantle malicious infrastructure by collaborating with ISPs and certs to take down command and control servers. This effort has significantly hindered attackers who rely on Cobalt Strike for spear phishing and network infiltration. UK.
All right. Hey, you know what? I'm going to call this a win. Let's go. And a little law enforcement.
Regulators, mount up.
So, for those who don't know, Cobalt Strike is a post-exploitation framework. Now, if you don't know what a post-exploitation framework is, let me, 2 sentences to explain it to you. And you should know what it is if you're going to work in cybersecurity. When you, let me do 2 sentences. A post-exploitation framework is a capability that's mature that allows a compromised asset to be controlled remotely by a threat actor or a red teamer or security researcher in order to use it as a foothold for post-exploitation. Okay, hopefully that did it. Basically, when you compromise an asset, you want to be able to interact with it, see what's going on, do data exfil, send it commands, push in new payloads. This is post-exploitation. You can use it to move laterally in the environment. This is post-exploitation. Now, post-exploitation, you might be like, wait a minute, why is there a mature security solution for this? This sounds like something that threat actors would do. Well, when you hire red teamers and pen testers to emulate threat actors, they are going to have this mature solution. So red teamers use it, and that's why Cobalt Strike exists. Now, as they mentioned, there are cracked copies. There are even legitimate copies that criminal organizations stand up shell companies and then purchase real licenses for Cobalt Strike and then use them. Conti ransomware gang famously had a licensed copy of Cobalt Strike. Okay, there are other options. There are open source options. Sliver is an open source one. Empire is more of a PowerShell one. That's open source. Okay, so you don't have to use Cobalt Strike only, but it's very, very powerful. Now, what's awesome is, and I've heard from Mike Saunders at Red Siege. So if you're interested in red teaming and post-exploitation, Mike Saunders is phenomenal. That Cobalt Strike's very easy to detect if you don't customize it or tailor it. The fact that it's down 80%, this is an absolute win for everybody. What you should know is, just because Cobalt Strike's down 80%, the way I read this is that threat actors have pivoted to using other post-exploitation frameworks instead. A threat actor isn't going to give up because they can't use Cobalt Strike. They're going to pivot because Cobalt Strike is getting taken down and detected quite easily. The number of threat actors still remains the same. I mean, obviously it's a fluid number, but this just means, for me personally, what this means is this is a win. We are disrupting operations. But number 2, if you're a threat hunter, if you're a blue teamer, if you're a SOC analyst, if you're an incident responder, whatever, right? You should be looking less for Cobalt Strike beaconing and Cobalt Strike indicators of compromise. They're still going to be there, right? But you should expand your focus to other post-exploitation frameworks. Probably Sliver is a very popular one that I'm aware of. I just saw news stories a couple weeks ago around Sliver usage uptick. Obviously, beaconing is a technique that you're going to see regardless of the post-exploitation framework. So that's a way to kind of call it out. Know that C2 command and control data can be done across many, many different mediums, right? So you can use Telegram for C2, you can use DNS for C2. So just be mindful of that, okay? So hopefully I'm giving you value with this particular story. This is awesome. It's down 80%, but just know that simply means that someone turned the lights on and the cockroaches scurried away. There's still the same number of cockroaches. They're just using other post-exploitation frameworks now. I do want to reference a wicked awesome video that I loved here. This is definitely worth your time, okay? This is a 58-minute video. You can watch it on 2x speed, so it's a 27-minute video or whatever, a 30-minute video. This is 100% value. If you want to know everything about C2 networks and just like, C2 frameworks, and how C2 is done, and get it directly from very, very, very seasoned practitioners, Tim Medine and Mike Saunders. Here, these two guys right here. The guy on the left owns Red Siege. He invented Kerber roasting. The guy on the right is Mike Saunders. He's like the lead Red Siege offensive security practitioner. These two guys are legends, okay? I'm telling you right now, this video, it might be one of the best videos, it not on the internet, but like it's very, very, very good. Like I can't recommend spending the 30 minutes and watching this with a notebook.
Banks ordered to compensate customers for outages. 9 major UK banks and building societies, which is the UK version of a credit union, were found to have accumulated the equivalent of 33 days of tech outages in the past 2 years, according to figures published by a parliamentary treasury group. And they must now deliver compensation payments amounting to £12.5 million. This data does not include the Barclays Bank outage in January or the Lloyds Bank outage of last week. The committee's chair, Dame Meg Hillier, sympathized with working people and companies for whom, quote, losing access to banking services on payday can be a terrifying experience, end quote. But Patrick Burgess of the UK's Chartered Institute for IT says the findings, quote, once again highlight that the traditional banking sector hasn't kept pace with the investment needed to modernize its infrastructure, end quote.
That's insane. That's insane. Like forever, financial services have been the front runner of investing in cybersecurity. And I got to tell you, banks to pay customers millions, this is a financial burden that a bank would, any business doesn't want to have to pay out millions of dollars. But I got to tell you, yes, there are like, oh, if you use this bank, you get free airline miles, or if you use this bank, you get, a 0.1% better interest rate. But by and large, guys, banks are kind of all the same. So like how you choose whether to use, State Street Bank versus Bank of America versus Chase Bank, to me, the way that you make those choices is based on how safe you feel your money is and how convenient accessing that money is, right? So when there's IT outages and it's payday and you're trying to get your money and they say, oh, I'm sorry, please come back later, that's not good for anybody, right? So, like obviously they're going to pay customers out in order to make them feel like they're made whole. Now, they said that financial companies have not continued to invest in their security and IT infrastructure on pace with technology advancements. That's just insane. If you do work for a financial services company, I guess be aware that this is coming down. But like I said, for the most part, I would always think that financial services is where you'd want to go because they've always taken it quite seriously. As just a little pro tip, this is Santander. Oh my God. Just as a pro tip, I will tell you, typically banking or financial services pays the best for salary, right? So if you are completely all about straight cash, homie, right? You want to make the most money?
Straight cash, homie.
Go to financial services. I will also tell you the downside is that in my experience, it's incredibly stressful, high demand, a lot of angry people, because seconds can cost money, so they get all pissy. I don't like it. I worked in financial services for about 3 months, and that was enough. That was about 2 months, 3 weeks, 4 days longer than I needed to or wanted to. So just, good money, high stress.
Developer sabotages company with kill switch. A former senior software developer is now facing up to 10 years in prison for leaving a kill switch behind following his demotion and termination. Davis Liu, 55, of Houston, Texas, had been a coder for power management company Eaton Corporation between November 2007 and October 2019. Following a corporate restructuring in which his position, responsibilities, and access were reduced, Liu wrote a Java code that would release, quote, an infinite loop, creating more and more non-terminating threads that would consume more and more resources until the computer running the code crashed and prevented people from logging in and using the machine, end quote. On the day he was let go, the application noticed the revocation of his credentials and launched itself, locking thousands of employees around the world out of the network and causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. If you've been
all right, hold on a second. I got a deep cut reference for you. Let's see if I can. I don't even know if there's a. I don't know if there's a. Hold on. It's too bad. Like, there's a Terminator 2 reference here that's perfect. So I don't know, mod chat, if you could pull it, that'd be awesome. Basically, in Terminator 2, there's a guy holding a the guy who like founded Cyberdyne and like is the one that discovered the microchip and did the research that leads to Terminator 2. He's like holding a weight above like a detonator, and the police come in and he's like, get out, and then like he dies and like detonates and everything blows up. That would be perfect right now. So guys, we've seen a couple of these times. We've seen this a couple times in history. This is a logic bomb. You don't typically get to see a logic bomb, and it's never going to work out. I don't know how this guy thought for a second they wouldn't discover the malware. On top of it, the code is looking to see if his account is disabled. So like literally the code is pointing at him. So he knew, I mean, he had to have been an idiot if he didn't think that this was going to come back and bite him in the butt. Second of all, it disables, or it had like international impact where no one globally could log in. Big mistake. But this is it. So it's very difficult to deal with insider threats. If you have someone who's kind of like going off the rails, obviously he was demoted and then ultimately terminated. So there was definitely something seen internally that was a problem for this guy. But yeah, this is a logic bomb. I do like this like subtext right here. Is he enabled in Active Directory? No. Is he guilty? Yes. Is he going to jail? Yes. That's kind of funny. Oh, thank you, Casually Joseph. Here we go. This is oh my God. Why can't I can't open this. Computer, open this. It's too bad. This reminds me. So here's the deal. You can't really stop this, right? Just know if you're going to terminate someone involuntarily, especially if they're kind of acting dodgy, you should be able to pull the last 90 days of their access and logs and stuff like that and see if anything dodgy's been going on. I will tell you, just human nature. If someone gives their 2-week notice, this is anecdotal evidence, but think about yourself, right? And think about the reality of this. If like Casually Joseph just left Barricade for Palo Alto, right? Now this is actually probably a bad example because Barricade's a small business and Joseph knows Eric, but usually when you give your 2-week notice, right? You like button everything up and get everything ready. That way, if they fire you right then at the spot, you can walk out the door and have everything kind of buttoned up, okay? But usually you do that like a couple weeks before you give your notice, right? Because most people interview for a job, they get the job, they're like, yes, I got the job. And then they're like, all right, I've got to get everything kind of tightened up. I'm going to give my notice. So if you can pull like the last 90 days, even the last 30 days, any type of like anomalies or, insider threat type stuff typically can be observed. Okay. The other example I wanted to bring up here for these kill switches is this is like my favorite go-to story. What's the word I'm looking for? Logic bomb. This one's a good one. Hold on. This happened like maybe 5-10 years ago. Oh my gosh, where is it? Well, I'll just tell you, the Bay Area Rapid Transit in San Francisco, this guy who was like an administrator got fired. And here it is. Yeah, this is this story's from 2013, and this guy was already found guilty. So this story must have happened like 2008 or something like that. Yeah, 2008. The guy was Terry Childs is his name, and he basically got fired, and he was pissed off, and he didn't think anyone could like run the Bay Area transit network better than him because he built it from scratch. So he changed the admin passwords and locked everyone out of everything. And literally the mayor of San Francisco, who was Gavin Newsom at the time, had to personally go to this guy and ask him to unlock it. And then he did. And then they arrested him and he went to jail. So every instance of insider threat I've ever seen typically results in someone going to jail. We even saw another good example. I forget, there was an engineer that was like mentally unstable who worked at Amazon, but like hacked in, quote unquote, hacked into like Capital One data records and started stealing all sorts of stuff. So anyways, if you are like, for two things to tell you here. Number one, as a practitioner, you should be aware of insider threats, especially if someone's just given their notice. You might want to partner with HR to find out when people are being terminated so you can pull their data for the last couple of weeks at least to see what's going on, see if there's any risk there. Number two, if you are thinking about committing insider threat activity, like you yourself are pissed off at your company and you're going to write some type of logic bomb to screw them over, highly likely they will figure out it's you. So I wouldn't recommend that. That's like a Threat Actor Academy bonus feature. Don't do that. All right, here we go. Does what count as a logic bomb? Oyen Demola Ogunu, let us know, and I'll answer the question as best I can. All right, we are at time, y'all. Hey, really quickly, if you got to go, I just want to let you know this Thursday, we are having Brandon Stevens on. Now, really quickly, this is Simply Cyber Firesides. He is a solution architect. The entire point of this interview, this right here, if you've ever heard someone say, oh, you should work in sales, in cybersecurity, pays great, a lot of opportunity, and you're like, I don't know, what is it? Do I need to sell things? How does that work? That's what Brandon does. Also, I want to point out, Brandon's a very, very close personal friend of mine. I love this guy. I've had, multiple, I worked with him for a number of years. He's a blue teamer, and he just moved into solution architecting sales and loves it. So if you've ever wanted to know what sales is like in cybersecurity, Brandon's going to demystify everything. And I think you're really going to enjoy him. He's a super cool dude. Also, bonus tip, former pro golfer, right? So that's an interesting angle. Former pro golfer. I love that guy. Oyen Demola says, the story about the guy who locked everyone out. Surname is Childs, as you mentioned. Yeah, that would be it was a logic bomb. Yeah, it was a logic bomb, that guy. He wrote it where if he got laid off, actually, I don't think it was a logic bomb. I think he just changed all the passwords and they didn't detect it until he left because he was the one accessing all the things. All right, guys. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Really quick as a reminder, go to the Discord server if you'd like to enter to win the prize pack of the hardcover The Future Is with the 2 additional comics. We're giving away 5 packages to 5 lucky winners. Just go to the Discord server, Socials Intros channel, and introduce yourself and do a hashtag giveaway, and we'll get that sorted out. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber, guys. Thanks so very much. Don't go anywhere. We're going to start jaw-jacking right now. I answer all your questions. Yeah. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. All right, welcome everybody. Holla, holla, hollow. Guys, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. And, we are answering all your questions. Let me switch it over here. Get my cool lo-fi beats. Guys, I'm Jerry. This is Simply Cyber's Jawjacking. And all we do here is answer all your questions as best we can. And take it easy, Natalie Garrett. And, guys, if you want to hang out, have some fun, that's what we're here for. If there are questions, put a Q in front of them, and I'll do everything I can to answer them. If there's no questions, I'll just kick it socially until 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then we'll go from there. All right. Bruise and Hacks had a question, but forgot it. That's okay, Bruise and Hacks. As always, we'll be here every single day doing what we can to answer your questions so you can bring it tomorrow. The Simply Cyber Media Group is like low-key hiatus, right? Simply Defensive is on break until Q2. Cyber Mentors Podcast is on break until Q2. We got 2 Cyber Chicks still kicking it. We've got Simply ICS Cyber kicking it. So we got it going. All right, so here we go. We got questions coming in. Thank you very much. Gonk is new here. Gonk says, I'm trying to get an intro job involving a computer networking. Any advice? Yeah, so, it sounds like you're trying to get into IT networking. Obviously, understanding networking would be huge. If you can, obviously getting into IT, if you just get into IT, you can angle it towards doing networking work. Obviously, I typically say you don't need to get like a CCNA cert to get into cyber, but if you want to just focus on networking, CCNA is a great one. Obviously, get practical hands-on experience. Gonk DLC, you can use things like Cisco Packet Tracer, Wireshark. These are all kind of tools that are related to networking to get into that. And if you can, I would build like a multi-node home network and then do all the routing on it and then be able to demonstrate and show that. All right, let's go. Augusta Delgado says, what's the difference between fork bomb and logic bomb? Fork bomb? I think of fork bomb, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, so I just checked it to confirm it. So a fork bomb is a denial of service attack, and a logic bomb is more of a situation where malware is basically chilling, waiting for some type of truth to happen, okay? So really quickly, a fork bomb is, imagine a process that forks itself, right? So now there's one process and it forks off and creates another process. And then that process forks off and creates another process. You can only run so many processes on a machine because every time you run a process, it consumes some resources. So if you run infinite processes, it's going to consume infinite resources, which is effectively going to bring the machine down, resulting in a denial of service attack. A classic example of this, if you would like, is the Morse worm. Go back and look at the Morse worm. It wasn't classified as a fork bomb, but it essentially is a fork bomb. The Morse worm, M-O-R-R-I-S, Morse worm. A logic bomb is a piece of malware or code that is just sitting there and it won't do something until some situation occurs. I'll give you a perfect example. And this wasn't even malicious in nature. This was just crappy programming. The Y2K bug, if you were around at the beginning of the millennia, at the year 2000, a lot of computer programs and a lot of operating systems, a lot of code was written with the year as a 2-digit number, right? So 000102 up until 1999. And there was a major concern that when it rolled over to the year 2000, a lot of systems would see the year as 1900, and it would cause all sorts of problems, especially in the banking industry. People were really concerned. It was called the Y2K bug. And there was a lot of engineering that was done to fix this. Now, again, this wasn't malicious, but it is an example of a logic bomb, because when the time equals, 11:59, 1999, the next minute or next second, could cause a bomb to go off. Okay, I hope that answers that. All right. Looking at questions. Thomas Marquette's going to go over some common behavior-based questions. That's perfect. What's your best advice, Elijah wants to know, for people participating in a CTF? Okay, so if you're going to participate in a capture the flag event, what I would suggest is the following things. Number one, usually there is if you're in person or online, there's usually some type of like community space to chat with others. This is not to get answers or get secrets or whatever. It is an opportunity to collaborate and network with other people. It's fun. So don't be shy about that. Now, as far as being successful at the CTF, what I would recommend is usually there's a bunch of different challenges of varying degrees of difficulty. What I would do is I would do a couple of the easy ones first, just to kind of like flex a little bit and feel good. Second of all, when you do attack a more difficult challenge, take good notes. It seems easy to not take notes and just kind of move fast and break things, but it's not uncommon to spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes on a challenge, go down a bunch of different rabbit holes, and then basically take a pause and move on to another challenge. When you come back to the challenge, if you have good notes, you won't have to relearn everything, right? The third and final thing about a CTF, I would say, is, and this is just my personal problem, so your mileage may vary. If you have one tip for CTFs, drop it in chat for our friend Elijah Smith. But the third thing that I would say is sometimes the challenges are not as complicated as you think. A lot of times I personally will go down the most bizarre rabbit hole thinking that it's like a murder board with strings attached and everything, and it ends up not being that complicated. All right, so just be mindful of that. I personally, here's another fun fact. I personally try to avoid doing CTFs because they consume me and I lose track of time. I lose track of responsibilities. The last CTF I did, I didn't shower. I missed my kid's soccer practice because literally it's a problem for me. Christopher Ayres says, got a meta device. Funny, found reading the Wall Street Journal is the best thing to do with it besides watching 360 3D movies. There you go. Jamer115, is this Jerry Guy? It is Jerry Guy. Holla. What's up, Frederick? Wakulyaka, good morning to you too. How would one start with threat modeling? Brexy wants to know. All right, well, with threat modeling, there's a couple things you want to do. Number one, you want to look at your your business or your industry, right? What is it that you're protecting? Number one, right? So I'm protecting a manufacturing company. I'm protecting a K through 12 school system. Okay. Now you got to look at kind of the IT infrastructure. Is it on-prem? Is it a hybrid on-prem cloud? Is it an MSP providing infrastructure? So there's some segmentation of responsibilities and supply chain concerns. Is your workforce remote? Are you using do you have VPNs? Like, you got to look at kind of like yourself first. Okay, Brexy, that's number one. Now, number two, you can use a solution like MITRE ATT&CK Framework, obviously staying current on threat intelligence, to figure out what is the most likely threat vectors and threat actors that are going to be attacking you. Now you know who's attacking you, likely. You know common techniques that they'd use. You know what your current situation looks like and where your weaknesses are. So now threat modeling is starting to look at the high percentage chances of attack and what those attack vectors look like, what the attack channels are, and then that's how you prioritize effectively which gaps you want to address first, or which detections you want to put in place in order to address the threats that are most likely to get at you. Hopefully honestly, that's you could do an entire course on threat modeling as a GRC capability, or at least a workshop. What I just gave you is the TLDR. I hope that helps. Let me know in chat. Tim Koss says, hello, Jerry. I just got my 100% GRC job 3 days ago. I didn't know you could get less than 100% of a job. But guess what, Tim?
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love it, Tim. Congratulations, man. Christopher says, why don't they make a Stark data analysis tool for Meta VR devices? I want to have topics explode in front of me. Okay. Wading through logs is in chat. Good morning, Wade. All right. So ZMIP's doing some knowledge bombs here. Rex says, what's the bandwidth capacity of an unladen network? Please don't actually answer this before real questions. Okay. I think this is like a Monty Python and the Holy Grail joke, which is really funny. Thank you. Dennis Keefe says, besides eBay, do you know a good resource to buy used hardware for home labs such as Netgate devices? No, I don't. What I would say, Dennis Keefe, honestly, I know this is going to sound bizarre because your mileage may vary, but I would actually throw it out in Discord under general and just say, hey, everybody, like, I'm looking to buy some hardware. Does anyone have any hardware for home labs? And I might ask it once in a while. And here's why. Many of us, okay, and I'm pointing my finger at myself as well, many of us in the tech industry, and this is one of the few times that I'll say cyber is in the tech industry, but we hoard technology, right? Code Brew, do you have a Tupperware tub full of cords and tech, right? Ben Abramovitz, do you have a tech bin, right? Some of us have multiple tubs of tech. If I opened any of these drawers right here, you would find several tubs of technology, okay? So chances are, Dennis Keefe, like I have a Linksys router, 54WRTG in that bin right there. I could go get it right now. It's right there. So if someone asks, and I'm not using it, I'd probably give it to you. You know what I mean? So that's what I would do. All right, I'm continuing to look at chat. Oh, hey, Richard Duff, representing Australia. Richard Duff, good to have you. Hopefully you can be here on Wednesday. Bruno Lima, any tips on job hunting? I found that job titles and job duties don't correlate with each other. Yeah, welcome to the party. Yeah, what I would say, number one tip on job hunting, networking within the community, networking. Bruno, you're here every day. Hopefully you're active on the Discord server. That's definitely a great step. Step two, pro tip, build a portfolio. We actually run workshops, and by we, the royal we, Dennis Keefe and Chris Whitlock are running monthly portfolio workshops on the channel, in the Discord server. Now you might be like, how does a portfolio help me job hunting? Bruno, when you have a portfolio on your resume, people are going to go look at it. When someone's about to interview you and they look at your resume in advance and they see like, oh, they got a portfolio, like they're going to look at it and you're going to be impressive. Okay. Now, as far as job titles and job duties go, you should educate yourself. I actually have a video, and I don't know where the video is right now on the channel, but there's definitely a video on the channel breaking down at least GRC titles. So risk analyst, compliance analyst, GRC analyst, governance analyst, security awareness analyst, cyber analyst, like all of these may relate, or auditor, cyber auditor, risk auditor, FISMA auditor, PCI auditor, CIS 18 auditor, NIST CSF auditor, NIST CSF risk analyst. Like all of these are probably the same thing. And I know that's frustrating to you, but just be aware all of these things. Cyber engineer, cyber analyst, those two terms are very generic and used across many, many different roles. So unfortunately, you have to put some work in to discovering what the roles actually are. Cam says, is there a regulation or security control that companies struggle with the most? And what are the common mistakes they make when trying to comply? So really quickly, Cam, I'm going to let you in on a secret. And hey, all you olds in chat and all you senior people, don't take my union card for this one. Regardless of the regulation, right? Like pick HIPAA, pick PCI, pick whatever. Most organizations are not 100% compliant with it, okay? It's just a fact, okay? They're trying, quote unquote, but most are not 100% compliant. FISMA compliant, okay? Second of all, when you say security controls that they struggle with the most, I mean, there's a lot of nuance there, right? Like asset inventory is like the number one control in CIS 18, the most important one. It's where you do identify in the NIST CSF. Most businesses suck at asset inventory because it's hard to know what you have in your environment. We covered a story this morning of these ESP32 chipsets that have 29 undocumented functions that could be persistence and backdoors, right? Like I'm showing you a Flipper Zero wireless NIC and how it's got that chip on it, right? Probably got the 29 undocumented commands. How are you possibly going to find that in your environment? So asset inventory is wicked hard. No business is going to be like, oh, that's our biggest problem, we should invest in that. No business is going to do that, okay? So it's so funny. Like, Cam, I love that you asked this question because it's like such a simple question, but the answer is incredibly complicated and nuanced. All right. So the common mistake people make when they comply, I mean, they just don't have the controls in place. And just fun fact, you might be like, how do you say compliant if you don't have the controls in place? They'll document them as POAMs. They'll accept the risk. They'll do a million different things. It'll be in progress. You'll say, oh, do you have multi-factor authentication in place? And they'll respond yes, because the end user accounts for email have multi-factor authentication, but like all your admin accounts, your networking devices, your 80, none of those things have multi-factor, but that's not the point. We're talking about email, aren't we? Quote unquote. By the way, just fun fact, I had literally probably 4,000 calories worth of buffalo chicken and blue cheese pizza this weekend. I literally had it for dinner on Friday, lunch on Saturday, dinner on Saturday, lunch on Sunday. And I don't care. No judgment.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It was so good. I'm like, actually, like my mouth's watering right now for buffalo chicken blue cheese pizza because I ate it all weekend. How do you manage hardware tokens like YubiKeys for an enterprise looking to do a staged rollout? We prefer Duo. So I've done a hardware key rollout before. I've only done it on a small scale. Kyle, what I would do is you basically have to have a control spreadsheet. What I personally did was I bought like probably 100, 200 devices. It wasn't for every organization member. It was for people who didn't want the app on their phone. And then I sent like 10 units to every facility to like the local IT admin on site. And then you just have a spreadsheet that everyone has access to that says like Casually Joseph, Puerto Rico facility, serial number, and then who it's allocated to. and then, Casually Joseph, Puerto Rico facility, next serial number, who it's allocated to, or if it's unallocated. And then you basically just ask them as they roll it out to update the spreadsheet. And then you have to go in to the system and you have to bind a key to a user. So there's a process around initialization. And that way when people, you'd also probably want, who asked that? Kyle. You'd also probably want some type of sign off by the end user that they are taking responsibility for the hardware key. And if they lose it, they're responsible for funding the replacement of it. That's one thing people don't think about. Hardware keys are not free. They're not $0. And while the business can invest in the initial purchase of the units, if you got end users losing them all the time, it's going to get expensive. CFOs don't like it. That's why they like to roll out the apps, because people use their own phone, and then the CFO doesn't have to fund anything, which is awesome.
Straight cash, homie.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. Continuing on through your questions. Almost caught up. Wading through logs is telling Dennis Keefe to check out Craigslist for some hardware assets. TG Artist is enjoying coffee and the awesome content. Thanks, TG. Pastor of Muppets is telling people packet tracer for a home lab. Love it. Soonjay feels like I called him out by saying tech quarters. We're not. We're archivists. Very nice. I like the distinction. Blood, Sweat, and Rage says, what free resources do you recommend to get started from ground zero? I'm on a tight budget doing free code camp. Let me tell you this one. I think that this is phenomenal. Ready? Check this out. This is my academy, Blood, Sweat, and Rage. And you might be like, wait a minute, I said free. Why are you trying to sell me something, you D-bag? Well, I'm not. Check this out. Cyber Career Launchpad. Okay? Now, I said career changers, but don't worry about it, Blood, Sweat, and Rage. Whether you're career changing or not, this is a free course that I developed, okay? Completely free. And I literally, every single one of these sections has a video of me revealing a bunch of resources that ties to every section. And I show you in the video how to utilize the resource to get its maximum value. So instead of just like, your question is, what are some resources to get started? If I just provide you with a list of resources, yes, that's fine. But how do you know what to do with those resources, right? So like say I did this right here, right? Right? Watch this, Blood, Sweat, and Rage. Training on Azure. I'm like, oh, here's how you learn cloud. This is free training for Microsoft Azure. And you're like, oh, that's great. Thanks for the free resource, Jerry. And then you're like, what do I do first? Do I do administrator? Do I do AI fundamentals? Do I do monitoring tools? Where do I begin? I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. Oh, F it. I'll stop. So this course I made is literally me mentoring you. I can't mentor one-on-one. I just don't have the bandwidth for it. But I made this course where it's basically me mentoring you asynchronously one-on-one. So I'm going to drop a link to this in chat, Blood, Sweat, and Rage. I hope this helps you. I literally did it to help people. All right. Hey, Code Brew says Professor Messer is great for the A+ content. Another thing I would tell you, Blood, Sweat, and Rage, and just, do your own research, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? I would learn the content of the A+. I would not spend the money to get the certificate. I would learn the content of the A+. I would not spend the money to get the certificate. It's not going to have a lot of value getting the certificate for job hunting. The knowledge will help you. Same with the Network Plus. I would learn the content. I wouldn't necessarily get the cert if you're funding it yourself. You said you're on a tight budget, so I would assume you're funding it yourself. Do not spend the money on the A+ or Net Plus certification exam. Okay? All right, guys. We are at time. I'm just like gonna speed run questions. I've never been to Buffalo. I've been to Troy, New York. That was as close as I got to Buffalo. LSK CPK says an interview for SOC analyst position on Wednesday. Get it. Also, hey, really quickly, just because I got a video for that. Really quickly, who said that? LSK CPK, you see this video right here? 12 incredible SOC analyst interview questions. This video has 153,000 views. It's one of my more popular videos, and I will drop this in chat. LSPCK, good luck on, or best wishes on the interview. I don't say good luck. I say best wishes. Crush it. All right. Again, thanks to Fleetus for the gifted subs. Very kind of you. And Nathan McKnight, if I don't get the knock job, should I self-destruct or take your Launchpad course? Dude, just take the Launchpad course anyways. Don't self-destruct. You got this. You got this, okay? You got this. I got a video for that soundbite, right? All right, guys, that's it. We're caught up. Shout out to the mod team. It's been quiet in mod chat lately. Everybody's super busy right now. I wish you the very best. Thank you for being here. We will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I know it's daylight savings, so 8 a.m., I guess, daylight savings time for the show. And keep crushing, y'all. Be well. And until next time, stay secure.